Everybody. Welcome to the night before our Thanksgiving holidays Facebook Live party. It has been a super long day, but I did want to get on and just first tell everyone just how blessed I am to have so much support, not only from the author community, but from readers. And I'm just truly blessed to be doing this work. Um, I'm sitting here with my stack of novels and books that I've published this year. And today I wanted to talk about My Boyfriend's Back, Angels in Love. And there's a reason. Because this book is doing so well on the Audible charts. And every hour it's going to fluctuate, possibly. But I will say that since it has released, it has been in the top 100 and in the top 10 on many days, including when I woke up this morning, it was number 6. And, oh, sorry guys, I'm getting all kinds of love and good news, even while we Facebook Live. But it was number 6 this morning, and last week it hit number 3. And to be number 3 in a category like clean and wholesome romance, like I absolutely am just thrilled about that. Knowing that my clean fiction is available for young audiences to read, adults to read, it's just a blessing. And I know that it's a God thing. So I have the paperback version of my books right here that I'm going through and stacking through. And here is the cover for Angels in Love, My Boyfriend's Back. Now, I'm calling this my sleeper book because this was the actual first book that I published in my series of books. And so I'm going to hold up my books for you guys. Here's like my stack. I do not do video well, as you guys can see, but you hang out with me anyway. So this is my baby, my first published book of the season. And it released in early July. And when it first came out, I guess I don't know if I was like in shock mode that I actually had a book out there in the world. And I know I probably didn't do this baby justice with promotions. I did make a book trailer and I would share out on social media. But I never really told a lot of the behind the scenes of the book and the characters. I just kept writing. Like once this book was done, then I was working on other books, and then I was working on more books. And while I was waiting for that next book, and it seemed like while I had that sustained time to write in the summer, because all of you guys know I'm a teacher, and so the summer months were like my time to really devote to the craft, it was almost to the point where I forgot about celebrating all of the books as they came along. And so when it came time to put up for Audible books, I knew that all of my books that I've written, I want to go to Audible. I want students and homeschool families and adults and people that just love audio, people who need access to books. That accessibility for me matters so much. So I knew that that was going to take place with all of my books. And Lyric Harper, who I love so much, Lyric was actually my first Audible book. And she is just, Abigail is amazing. I love her as a narrator. She is just precious, honestly, guys. She fit the voice of Lyric. It was just amazing. And that was my first Audible experience. And then I have Anne as my narrator for My Boyfriend's Back. And Anne is absolutely 100% the voice of Graceland in my head. So Graceland Johnson and Anne, it was just like meant to be. And I'm going to be definitely shouting out to Anne tonight if she's able to, to say hello to everybody. Just I want you guys just to know how much I appreciate my narrators. I've had 3 wonderful experiences with 3 narrators that just fit the works so well. And I'm going to hopefully and prayerfully continue to work with these narrators on the rest of my books. And I will say that when Angels in Love came out, I check all of my books on a daily basis if I can. Like, I try to do it like first thing when I wake up in the morning, just kind of do a business overview of the day. It's a part of my routine. And when I saw what was happening with my boyfriend's back on Audible, I was like, oh my goodness, wait a minute. We just broke through the top 100. And so, of course, with Amazon, if you break within the top 100, that's when you become a bestseller on their site. But when you hit that top 10, there's something else. It's just like magical. That means that if someone is looking for bestsellers in a category, your book cover, your link is going to be right there on that main screen. And so when I broke through the top 10, I was just ecstatic. I was taking pictures of screens. If you go on my Instagram page, I'm sure you're going to see the pictures of screens. I've got tons of pictures on my phone, like just documenting this author journey. And here I am taking all of these pictures and checking. And then I was away at a conference, and I pulled up my work, and it said number 3. And I'm like, oh my goodness, look where I am. Look at all of these great works around me. And I was just so tickled to know that Grace Lynn Johnson made it to not only break through the top 100, but she was sitting on number 3 for quite a while. And so this morning, again, looking at it, I was like, you know what? We just got to do a celebration party for just having accessible books. Knowing that the books are out there and they're clean, wholesome fiction, that's the category that they're doing well in, that it's not just some obscure category. I actually broke through the bestseller list with Angels in Love in all 3 categories that is listed on Amazon, including discussing grief and dying with teens. And so I'm telling you guys, just knowing that this book is out there on the clean fiction market and people are picking it up. And yes, it took a while. Like I said, it was kind of like a little sleeper book, asleep, and now it's awake. And now that it is awake, I just hope that it can truly bless someone that might be going through a difficult time, might be going through a loss, or it just might entertain someone, that they just may fall in love with the characters and go for the ride. And so this book, for those of you who know me, you guys know I'm North Carolina all the way. All of my books are set in North Carolina except Bridges. Bridges is at my favorite beach town ever, Murrells Inlet, South Carolina. And I spent many a time at Murrells Inlet. And so I will say that that one is inspired by that time period in my life. But the rest of my books are all set in North Carolina. And this one is very special for me because Angel Creek, it reminds me, it's like I just took a town out of Robinson County and I smacked Angel Creek on it so it could be my Angels in Love series. So it is a fictional town. However, it is truly inspired by Robinson County. That's my home place, and I have a special place in my heart for my community. And I'm just always like finding ways to put my community in there. I can't help it. I mean, I write what I love. I write what I know. And I love that small town. And I was not raised on a dirt road. But I'm going to tell you, with the way that her life is set up, it's so built around church and community and elders and just good down-home people. And when I look at this book, every time I think of home. Like, this book is like a heart. book for me. So if you guys want to know, like, hey, I wonder how it would feel to live in one of these little small towns in America, pick up one of my books, and hopefully you can step inside of that kind of atmosphere and feel that it's coming from an authentic place, because that's where, of course, I was raised. And so Graceland Johnson, Graceland was named after Elvis's mansion because my mama was a huge Elvis fan. She has an Elvis room. Elvis chapter headings are in here. Elvis references are in here. I just can't help myself. I can't help falling in love with that whole growing up with having a mama who loved Elvis, and I can pay tribute to her in these little ways. And all of my books, there's so many things that I can trace back, and it's almost like I can connect the dots around my heart. And it can just mean so much to me in so many other ways. So all of my books have little pieces of me. One of my dear friends, Ann Harrison Barnes, she's an author, she's a podcaster. You can go and check her out in Inspirational Journeys, and you can get her books online. Ann read Angels in Love. She read My Boyfriend's Back. And she told me, one, it reminds me of Sweet Valley High. Well, guys, if you haven't noticed that cover, it's inspired because when I was growing up, I can tell you what I was reading in 4th and 5th grade, and I had them on my shelf, every color, every copy, every number in order, above my fireplace mantle in my bedroom. And we lived in an old historic home, so I had this old fireplace, and it had books lined all the way across. And so when I knew that I was going to write this series, I was thinking, okay, this would be great for middle grades, but it's also great for teen audiences too. So this is clean and wholesome fiction that could start probably in fourth, 5th grade, and it could carry up all the way through. And in 2020, My Boyfriend's Back is going to have a book too, because you have to end it in a way where you don't know who might be coming back. And so there are some little crumbs lying around throughout this book, because this is a series. So I'm happy to announce that that is coming in the summer of 2020. You guys know that I've got a lineup of books for 2020. I have to. I already have book cover concept ideas and ideas for my Lyric Harper. Now, Lyric Harper, Sam has read. Sam has not read. Sam's my baby. He's 12. Sam has not read My Boyfriend's Back. I'm going to tell you why. Because this one is really for teen girls, honestly. This one is going to be that teen romance book. And I know. My son, fantasy, loves that. Loves the Rapture Revolution. He asked me today, when's 2 coming out, Mama? Can we please get started? And he's already found me images of a scarred lion, and we've already named him. His name is Cecil, and so Cecil is coming. But my son is actually going to help me write that book too. But this one, it's really a teen romance, and I know that that's not going to really appeal to my son right now. That's not his genre of choice. But I'm telling you guys, I absolutely just love this book. So I want to read a little bit from this book to you guys. And I'm going to start with chapter 1. And here's the info, so I'll show you. So here's chapter 1, Always on My Mind. Those of you who know that Elvis song. Noble's passing has shocked us all. This community is reeling from such a tragedy. Let us join in prayer to give us the strength to say our last goodbyes. The pastor led the congregation in the Lord's Prayer. I tried to recite it, but my words just wouldn't surface from the drowning of his name against my chest. Water filled my lungs and pushed me down into the abyss. What color would the Lumber River be at 20 feet deep? I imagined his last thought. No, I took it back as fast as a jackrabbit. It would be a line to a song, but which one? If I only knew the minute when he lost control, I could maybe find out the exact one playing. I didn't question his destination, only his last line. He loved God. I knew that as much as anybody. The spot beside me on the pew would miss his presence, but not as much as me. And so that is the opening page of Angels in Love. Now, this book is about heartbreak, but I do hope that people can see that heartbreak does have a place in our life, but so does hope. And Graceland goes through some things in this book, and she has to say goodbye to someone that she loves so much. But she also finds support and love and compassion from people around her as life continues to move forward. And so it's almost a book about, what happens as you have to keep moving forward, even though you feel like your world has stopped. And so this book is for people who might need a book like that, or just might like to escape in a small southern town in a teen romance. I will tell you guys the story behind this cloud here. Now, this cloud is for my daddy, and I placed it in some of my other books too. In my children's book, Dear God, Please Take Care of Rambo. This is my Rambo. This is my children's book. First page is a heart there. And it's the same heart that's on the back of this book. This heart means a lot to me because when I made my bucket list, of course, if you guys know that story, I won't bore you with the whole entire story, but I will tell you that my number one to start with was to jump out the airplane for my daddy, because my daddy was in the 82nd Airborne. But then I switched it, and it was to sing in church. And so now that you understand, I could not sing. I had no singing talent whatsoever. I'm not saying I do now. But the Lord had me switch those numbers around, and I sang in church first, and then I jumped out that plane. And everything I do, I hope that the Lord continues to knock on me and say, no, put me first, and then go do the next thing. And so that's what I do, hopefully, with my books. I put the Lord first, and then I figure out how to format and write and do all the things that I have to do with publishing. But when I was jumping out that plane, right before it, we looked out the window, and there was a heart cloud. And guys, I'm serious. I am not exaggerating or making this mess up. It happened. And we looked out the window and just, oh, look, there's a heart. There's a heart. And it was a heart-shaped cloud. And I just felt like my daddy was there with me in spirit. And so all of my little intricacies that I kind of know, it's all, I guess you can say I'm a sentimental person, and it comes out in my books too. And so there we go, Angels in Love. Now let me tell you about this Audible stuff. At first I just didn't know how was I going to take this whole stack of books I've got, and how was I going to make all of this happen? They're attacking me. Like, how is this going to work? And I'm just very, very thankful that there are other authors that get on YouTube and they share how to do this work. And they say step by step, and here's what you need to consider, and here's all these platforms, and go through it, make your own business decisions. And so with Monarch Educational Publishing, I've got to learn all of this stuff because accessibility matters to me, and I want people to be able to have access of audio. So sure enough, I'm putting up my manuscripts, I'm auditioning, and as soon as I heard Anne's voice, y'all, she is amazing. As soon as I heard her voice, I said, that is Graceland Johnson. She's going to do this book just right. And sure enough, it worked out. And the audition went through, and contracts were made. And next thing I know, the book is on Audible. And you can go on Amazon right now. And I've put the link in. But if you would like to join the raffle, all you got to do is comment if you would like to have an Audible copy. I'm going around to all my social media sites at the end of this video. And for people that make comments that they would love to have the Audible book, you guys listen to me. You're going to just love her. I want to go on and find... So I'm pulling up my Audible app. Oh, it's so bad. So I'm pulling up my Audible app. And as you can see, I have 3 books on Audible. So there's my Lyric Harper, which I love. So if you love fantasy That one's the one for you. So you message me. If you like fantasy, you message me about lyric. The Clay in the Potter's Hands is my poetry book. And my poetry is now up on Audible. You can message me if you like that too. And then there is My Boyfriend's Back. And there it is. La. So I just want to hit play here because I want you to hear her.
Your mama to tell us you're sleeping. But I am sleeping.
Can you hear her?
Sierra chimed in, trying to be as optimistic as ever. Well, I have a cure for that, and it's called dancing. We need you to come out with us.
And just listening to that, it's like perfect. It matches perfect. That's in my head. And I think that she did such a super job. And I just feel so blessed that the Lord opened those doors for me and connected me with people that are just amazing for my narration. While I have it up, I'm going to go ahead and let you hear Abigail. She's the perfect lyric of the world.
Like a jewelry engraving of their initials. Like a fingerprinting of her heart on the day that judgment arrived in the mail, but it didn't rule lyric's world.
And as you can tell, there's a different sound. It's so different. And when I heard that sound, it was like, oh, I have found lyric. You just don't know how like my spirit just jumps when I hear the different authors. The different narrators. Okay, listen to this one.
Giving his scepter of barbecue, ordering, positioning, a commanding presence.
That is Justina. She is on my poetry, Southern poetry book. And she was perfect for that. It's like the Lord just opened up doors left and right when it came to this, and everything has just worked out so smooth. And so I do want to say that having audiobooks, if you're an author out there and you're watching this right now, I really want you to consider, prayerfully consider, is that a next step for you? And then do your research, because if you go on YouTube and you have all these AutoTube people that you watch, or you go read up on, which are the best platforms for you, all you got to do is research a little bit, figure it out, go out there and just follow the Lord's lead, and the Lord will not steer you wrong. And so with this book hitting, breaking through that top 100 and then breaking through that top 10 and getting right there at number 3, it was sitting right there for anybody that was up on Audible and they're looking for, clean and wholesome romance for their children, their teens, their middle grades kids, or they just like to read that genre themselves and they're like, oh, this is a paranormal book. I want to read this. They may grab it too. And so I personally, if you knew where my stacks of books are right now, okay, I have a whole stack of books. We just finished reading James and the Giant Peach. I just read The Tiger Rising. I just read Mrs. Frisbee and the Rats of Nim. I'm all about children's lit and middle grades now, and that's pretty much what I'm going to be gearing towards for 2020. So I love reading middle grades. Middle grades and me, we just fit hand in hand, and I want to thank Kate DiCamillo for that, because as soon as I got hold of Rainy Nightingale, I think that my heart just kind of soared to a different place in my author mind and connected with me, and they just kind of exploded, and they said, okay, we've got to shift gears here, because the joy that I found in middle grades, reading it and also writing it, is beyond compare. I'm telling you right now, I do consider that 4th grade and up can read this book. And my Raptor Revolution, of course, is 5th grade standards for North Carolina. This one can be in any school, left or right. And I will say that I love, look, there's Samuel Adams Squirrely. Oh, there he is. The Raptor Revolution is middle grades, and this is the one that my son, is his all-time favorite book. But this one is going to Audible too. So this one is also heading its way, as the rest of my books are heading that way. And right now, it's just celebrating Graceland Johnson and what she's up to. Now, there's Noble Chavis. He's on the front cover, but Jamie Locklear is also very dominant in this book. He's another main character, and he's going to be with her on the second cover. And so I already have Jamie. I already have my next cover images already saved, ready to go. The colors are going to change a little bit. from here, but it's going to try to keep, a very consistent style. Um, and I already know some little twists and turns that are going to be for the second book. Another thing I loved about writing this book, not only was it set in Robeson County, but that I had diverse characters. So Graceland Johnson is a biracial character, and Noble Chavis is Native American, and so is Jamie Locklear. So it is set in Robeson County, and so I do have the Lumbee community definitely represented in this book. Both of my boys are Lumbee Indians, and so if I have an opportunity to write about Lumbees, I'm going to do it for my boys. That way my grandchildren are going to have a wealth of books. So not only are they going to pick up grandma's books one day, and I know you're saying, wait a minute, aren't your kids 17 to 12? Yes, they are. But one day I'm going to have grandbabies, and when I do, they're going to be able to pick up my books off of shelves, and they're going to say, look, my grandma, she wrote this, and it's got a character in it, and his last name is Chavis, or his last name is Locklear, or Tyler's in it, and they'll say, look what grandma did. She wrote a character for me. And so I'm very blessed to be able to write, just write what the Lord gives me, but also to pay honor to my children and to the community that I was raised in. Okay, now I'm going to tell you guys, I have like songs in here that are like secret favorite songs in the world. And then when I have gospel songs in here, I really went and had to pray about how do you choose the gospel songs. Like, I had to pick Amazing Grace, and it's not because her name is Graceland, even though that's what kind of like I wrote it in there. But Amazing Grace is played in the first chapter of this book because that is my son's favorite song. And so I don't know if anybody watching right now knows the Perry Sisters, but the Perry Sisters, growing up, and when I was a teenager, I used to love this song. It's called Resurrection Morn. And so Resurrection Morn and Amazing Grace are the two children's songs, like songs that when my baby, he was just a tiny little thing, I started singing those songs to him when he was born. And so I'd sing Resurrection Morn and Amazing Grace, and those actually became, Amazing Grace became his favorite song. And so not only can he play it on piano now, but he goes by That's My Baby Song. That's my favorite song. And now Solomon's favorite song, baby songs, his was God Bless the Broken Road from Rascal Flatts. And then there was a song called Love Me Forever, and it was sang by Alison Krauss. I don't know if you guys know those, but those were Solomon's baby songs. But Sam's baby songs show up in this book. And so when you see Amazing Grace, you're going to say, yeah, her name is Graceland, and that might be a reason why I know Chavis might have liked that song in my character world, but it's because it's Sam's song. So I do things like that throughout my books. I will say that there was a period of time that used to go to a lot of NASCAR races. And I was a Rusty Wallace fan. My daddy was a huge Dale Earnhardt fan. He collected so much Dale Earnhardt. And so he also liked Petty. He also liked Richard Petty and had tons of Richard Petty stuff. And I will say that in this book, now I got my Jamie Locklear, and he's a mechanic, and his daddy runs a mechanic shop, and he wants to, Noble thinks that he's going to be going to the Army with him. So Noble had all these noble plans. And instead of the Army, Jamie really wanted to be a mechanic and go to NASCAR racing school to learn the ins and outs of working in the pits. And he would keep telling Noble, but Noble was like, nope, you're joining with me. We're going to stick together. And he had all of these plans for the three of them because Noble and Jamie were best friends. And so in the book, he's a mechanic, and the NASCAR stuff comes up. And I just want to let you guys know that that's all about my daddy. My daddy and Dale Earnhardt and Richard Petty. And so he's a Pontiac guy. And my daddy used to always want his Pontiac car. So I will say that part of the story, that's all about daddy. I'm trying to think. Oh, and Miss Rachel's. Okay, now, guys, I'm telling y'all. If you get the Bible devotional, that we just put out. There are 17 authors, and we put this together. There's a lady at my church, and she used to say it's a God thing, and that's where I learned it from. And I got to tell you this story. She's in this book too. And so she pulls up, she's in her truck, and she's talking to him through the window, and she's inviting Jamie to come to church, and she's wanting them to sing. She's wanting Graceland to sing with her, and because I would sing with Miss Rachel in church. And she invites them over to practice a song, and I went over to Miss Rachel's and practiced songs with her in her kitchen, and so that actually shows up in this book too. But other things happen when they go to Miss Rachel's house. But she knits in the book, and she crochets. And she crochets colors, and she crochets patterns. And the patterns mean something. It's when she's had an encounter. But I don't want to tell you everything because I want you to read this book. I want you to listen. If you want a copy of this book, you just let me know. I'm doing a raffle tonight. So if you would be interested in having that Audible, go ahead and put your name down, and I'll send me a message, comment. But what ended up happening is I went for my first book talk, and it happened to be back at my home church in Robinson County. And that's my people, y'all. I love my elders in my church. And I went back to my elders, and my best friend was there, and my niece was there. Hey, Jessica, I saw you liked it. So I know Jessica's here. Oh, I see Dawn had liked it too. And Jessica came to support me, and it was a time when I could just tell people how much I was, thankful for them for always being a part of my story and always supporting me. And the work that the Lord has got me doing with these books. And sure enough, at the end of it, they give me a gift. And I'm like, wait a minute, I came here. You guys are my gift. Just being here is my gift. And inside that bag, Miss Rachel, she crocheted me pot holders. And y'all, this is no joke. They're the same color. The outfit I wore, the coat I had on, and the dress I wore was the colors. And then the other color, there were 3 colors. It was the color of my husband's shirt, and it was patterned. And I'm telling you guys right now, I knew that was a God thing. And I was like, Miss Rachel, when did you do this? She said, just last night. I felt led to do this for you. Out of all the colors, that's the one she picked, and it was my outfit, and we had picked out. And y'all, I'm not like a fashion diva, and I have a really hard time figuring out what I'm going to wear, and I have to lay out clothes, and Eli has to pick. My husband picks because I have no clue how to do that kind of stuff. And sure enough, we picked out these outfits, and that's what Miss Rachel has sat there and crocheted for me, just like the character in the book. And I said, if that's not a stand for the Lord telling me, keep doing this work, girl, keep doing it. I'm with you. I knew that was a God thing, and that really helped me with my confidence, because sometimes authors out here, when we're living this life, we always say, gosh, what else can I do? What else can I do with promotion and marketing, and how can I do this, and what else do I need to do? Sometimes we just need to step back. We just need to let God do that work, and we just need to continue to write and pray and connect with people and just praise Him and just be so thankful. And that's what I've really been trying to do. And the stressful, as life is with teaching and homeschooling and family life and everything that comes along with just living, these books, since July, starting with my boyfriend's back, these books have really just been a blessing, just been amazing. I can't even tell you. The next book in Audible that's coming out, and also she narrated this book, and I'm just waiting for the day. It could be tonight. It could be any day. I'm just waiting. It takes 10 to 15 days for that book to go through the final click button, to then get processed, and then get up to be live on Audible. So I am waiting, but A Magical Christmas Wedding is about to hit Audible. So I'm really excited about that. That's coming too. And I bet you're going to recognize, if you have Angels in Love on Audible already, you're going to get to experience that narration again with Anne, and how she pays perfect homage to the characters in this book too. And this book was written for my mama all the way. My daddy's in there too, as Mr. Bill. My daddy's up in there a couple times. But I will say that in each one of my books, that I hope that if you guys pick them up and you go, okay, I remember a character in another book, but he's also showing up in this book. How did that happen? I really don't know how it happened other than it was just meant to be, because in this book, even though you don't see a picture of Jamie, that's noble, but in this one, Jamie Locklear is at church and he's going to play the piano because he can't sing, but he's good with his hands, and so he's the mechanic and the football player, and then he's a piano player, and he will sit in at times when one of his church members, when his pianist can't play. And so he goes to Graceland's church on the day that she's going to sing. Well, because he's going to be up there singing, not singing, playing the piano, his family comes and they're coming to visit. And so while they're coming to visit from Raleigh and spend time with them, of course they're going to come to church. And because Jamie's going to be playing, his family from Raleigh is going to be coming in. Well, that's Tyler Locklear. Now, Tyler Locklear, he's actually the lead in one of my other books, and they ended up being cousins, and I had no clue that it was happening that way. But here's Tyler. And so this is my Tyler Locklear in my Hartwell Chronicles Teenage Exorcist, and so he's the prayer warrior of the team. And so Tyler is Native American. He's Lumbee, and he's from the community, but his family moved up to Raleigh, close to where I live now. And so, they always go back to visit, and they spend some Sundays down home and go to church with the family. And so there is a section where he goes up and he's, talking to him and picking at him, because Tyler's a jokester anyway. And so Tyler is just in there, joking with Jamie and telling Graceland, you better not give him a microphone. And then he's talking about Victoria, which is my girl, Victoria Hartwell, my Puerto Rican princess here. And that's for my other grandbabies in the future, way in the future. But they ended up being cousins. And I'm like, okay, I wasn't expecting that. And so there could be some things that could crisscross all throughout the books, and that could be interesting. Now, I don't know how that could be. That could just be the one-time show up. But because this is my YA horror book, and this one is my middle grades, this one's YA because it's about exorcisms and teenage exorcists. But this middle grades is paranormal too. And so Jamie might have to call on Tyler. I don't know yet. I hadn't quite started the blank page on that one yet. And that's what I did with Angels in Love. I was finishing closing up Bridges. Now, Bridges has been out. Bridges came out October the 13th. I'm about to release book 2 of this one. Bridges is my YA paranormal romance. It's a time travels book too, but all about music, theater. It's like a Phantom of the Opera retelling. So if anybody loves that genre, that life, that musical life, you might love this book. And so with Bridges, I finished it. I was doing the edits on Bridges, and there's the Bridges. I was just finishing it up, and I was feeling that, closing the book kind of feeling. And I was like, Lord, this is feeling like a great loss, because I went through the trilogy. That's a trilogy. And I've read through all of it, and I was already missing characters, and I was like, oh my gosh, it's over. I know I can do a spin-off on it, but and I already know in what direction I would probably want to go. It'll be a different character. But I'm like, gosh, it's kind of like Jasleen. That's over. Her and Seth and Colin, it's pretty closed up. And so when I was just sitting, just kind of going through the last ones, my boyfriend's back started playing in my head. And y'all, I'm serious. I was not on YouTube. I wasn't listening to music. I just started hearing my boyfriend's back, and you're going to be in trouble. And I'm like, okay, why am I singing this old song? I didn't even know who sang the song. I'm like, but I could just hear it replaying over and over. And if you're not aware, my boyfriend's back came from that song. And I was like, okay, where's he back from, Lord? And I opened up, looked at a blank page, and he's back. Well, he's back from the dead, because chapter 1, if you caught me reading chapter 1, you can understand that she's sitting in the church pew, and the preacher is leading them in the Lord's Prayer, and they're talking about a tragedy. And so now he's back from the dead. Noble has come back. And I will say that was that was a huge surprise for me because that book was so not planned. I had no plans whatsoever for Grace Lynn Johnson to pop into my heart and my life. And then here she goes. And 4 days later, I've got my boyfriend's back, and here's the novel. And I'm just like, wow, Lord. And that is how that book actually came to be. No dreams, no planning. I'm a pantser anyway. I like saying I'm a gardener. I just think that makes better sense. I'm a gardener anyway. In the writing world, that just means that I sit in front of a blank screen and I say, okay, Lord, and I'm praying and I'm saying, Holy Spirit, give me words that could be an encouragement and matter to somebody. Like I want my books to mean something. So just help me figure it out. And there I go. And I start typing and it all just seems to just come together and it all just seems to make sense, or it does to me anyway. And the people that have read this book so far, I have had such wonderful emails and conversations with people that have read it, who have listened to it on Audible and just love the narration. They love Anne's voice. And so I will say that I hope that you'll give it a try and you'll read My Boyfriend's Back, Angels in Love, and you'll start the series with me. And if you're interested in the Audible book, I'm giving away 7 copies. And what I've done is I've went out on all of my social media links. And so you can find me at Jen Lowry Writes on pretty much every platform. I'm on Instagram and Twitter and LinkedIn and, of course, here on Facebook. I also have a YouTube channel, and this video is going to also be put up on YouTube. And if you're on my YouTube channel, check out the video that's going to be sitting right beside it, because that's Kate DiCamillo. Yes, a 2-time Newbery winner. Kate DiCamillo. I had the blessed opportunity to be able to talk with her for a whole hour, guys, just about books and writing and her process, and just it was just one of the greatest blessings of my adult life, writing career, my salvation, my children, my family, meeting Kate DiCamillo. Like, she's on the hand, guys, I'm telling y'all. And that was another confirmation to me, too, that the Lord was saying, you really need to stay here because you're a joy for this genre and this age group, this target population. It just works for me. And maybe it's because my kid, too, he's in 7th grade. And we just come off of a cycle. We're still in Harry Potter. We're in book 4 right now. We're getting ready to start The Goblet of Fire. We're getting ready to start Matilda. We've got a whole lineup of books that we're going to be reading and catching up on. And I'm in a Roald Dahl study. And I'm telling you, I'm at such peace about it, about all of the books that I'm surrounding myself with. And I just feel like that's where my heartbeat is pretty much going towards. So 2020, who knows? I know that series work is coming. I know that book 2s are coming on my work. I'm going to be writing in collaboration with my son. And so when you see Sam Lowry and Jen Lowry, you're going to know that Sam's name is going to come before mine. And because I have my own publishing company, I think it's going to be all right. I think the publisher is going to come to mine. And Sam is going to help me write the Raptor Revolution book too. And it's not about saving Christmas Mountain this time. And there's going to be a lot more action and animals introduced. And Sam is taking notes in the car today and saving pictures on his phone. So he's actually doing all of the note-taking right now. So he is going first in that. And we're going to collaborate and we're going to write book 2. And so 2020, I'm really looking forward to what the Lord is going to do. I'm just going to keep the blank page going. I'm going to honor the blank page. And if you're an author out there, I want to ask for you to do the same thing. Just honor your blank page and just work it for the Lord. All of this do for the Lord. And I just want to thank everybody for being with me, for supporting me, for praying for me, my friends out there in the writing community. You guys just don't know how much y'all mean to me. Y'all have really pushed me. Y'all are my accountability partners here. The people on the Jen Lowry Writes podcast, if you are a podcast listener, go over there and find me. I'm on 9 different platforms. You can find me on Spotify, on Apple. Just type in Jen Lowry Writes, and you will find me everywhere. Don't forget to to get on my Pinterest page too. Like, I'm just, that brand that Jen Lowry writes, Clean Books for All Ages. I'm hoping that for 2020 we will just continue to grow and expand, and I'm praying for that. And I know that the Lord will do his thing. And with Angels in Love, and just like with all the rest of my books, I pray that there will be a blessing for somebody. And I know they've been a blessing for me. And the good news is out. This one's a bestseller. Raptor Revolution. It hit #1 new release the week that it was out. It had #1 banner right away. And now I've had the opportunity to have best-selling Bible devotionals. Those were, that was in April on my mom's birthday. I actually got a bestseller on one of my devotionals. And I'm just praying that the Lord will continue. My poetry book hit bestseller in women's poetry. And so I just hope that it continues to do that. And the books will just spread out there, and we'll spread the love. And so just send me a message, jenlowrywrites@gmail.com. Comment below if you would like to be put into the raffle. And then I'm going to go and I'm going to collect everybody's names across my social media platforms. And then we'll see. And I will contact you if you have received one of the Audible gifts. And I can't wait to announce who the winner is. And I hope that all of you have a happy holiday. Reach out to someone that you care about over the holiday season and check in on them. And just let them know you love them. And I challenge you to do that. And I hope that you have a very blessed night. All right, guys. Bye.